Welcome back to Motocross Gaming News here on Start Your Systems. Today we're going to continue on with our in-depth interview with Milestone developers Michele, Caletti, and Sebastiano Stefanetto as we discuss this time the neural AI system that they have in Supercross 25. Very interesting system about how the AI is going to adapt to changing conditions on the course and how it will adapt to what lines you are also doing on the racetrack and interact with you as an actual racer. So let's jump into this interview and talk with them about what exactly this system is. Okay, let's talk about neural AI because this is very interesting. Like you said, taking feedback from the players about wanting more dynamic AI, better AI. Talk about the process of implementing this in the first place, and then how different is this system to what you guys have had in past years?
It's very different because the AI we used was relying on something like drawing the ideal lines where it should follow, and then it was a matter of directly calculating all the inputs like the throttle, the brake, and the leaning of the rider, so that it tried to match more or less these lines. Obviously, it's much more complicated than this, but basically it was straightforward, like providing comments to the AI. What does this neural AI instead is that it just sees where the track ends, so it knows the side barriers, the borders of out of track, and then little else. It gets control of the bike, and at the beginning it's clueless, it cannot do anything, but it iterates and tries and tries and tries and learns and is reinforced, like with prizes when it does good, and it's not when it's not doing bad. And so it tries to achieve better and better and better results. So it actually learns to ride from scratch, learns how to exploit the physics, so that it's trying so hard that eventually it can pinpoint something you couldn't understand yourself while playing the game. So it can be very fast and can be very precise, and making situations like throwing in someone deliberately slower, or starting with some fallen AI catching up. You can create situations where they can learn about avoiding obstacles and managing real life situations, because you're proposing them to the AI. So it's conceptually different, and the result is very different because it's faster and it's more lively. It's managing the human component in a much better way.
Is it able to then react to what we as the player is doing? Because in the past games, obviously, if you found the AI was slower in a section or you could jump something that maybe they couldn't do, is that something where even what we're doing on the track and are reacting to following us or anything along those lines, can it react to that as well?
Yes.
It sees you, yeah, Seb.
Yes, it that they are able to react, and they are also able to remember what you did on the tracks, because like this is one of the pillar of our career mode, which is well, like we put a lot of effort in how all the group of riders that are basically competing against you during the season, they react in the way that you approach them, in the way that you behave against as well during the races. So they are not just able to react to what you are doing in the exact moment in real life, like in an impromptu situation, where you are just braking in a curve. Of course, they're not gonna hit you. They're gonna try like to circumnavigate you, and as well find the best trajectory to just like reprise their run and go for the finish line. But like what you do inside the races, in the career mode, will be actually remembered by this AI, which will increase their aggro against you. Well, when they are approaching, when they are like in your proximity, so they actually are impacted by what you're doing in real life, like in the present, and also they will be impacted in the future races too. Yeah.
So with that system, just quickly, how does it actually react to racing you in terms of like on track situations that we see in a regular Monster Energy Supercross race? For example, like even just this weekend in Arlington, how many times riders would like cut off of a corner early to get alongside someone, or go up the inside into a corner to block past someone? Is it even adaptive enough to know those types of situations and be able to do them to like kind of make the racing experience even more authentic?
They will because it's a very simple logic actually. They need to increase their so the agents are you can say that they are learning how to increment their their time on their prestation inside the tracks. Okay, so what they are doing there when they have a block ahead of them, being like yourself, being a fallen rider, being a rider that is doing the same thing as them, it's to find another trajectory and react like with a snap of a fingers, like to react in that situation to find the best trajectory for them. So yeah, the feeling, like it all can be condensed into what the players see actually and what the player feel. They will see this. They will see like turning over against other riders, against other AI riders, against you, of course, and this will make like the Supercross races feel more authentic and closer to real life ones.
They have no predefined lines to follow. So they have something like virtual vision sensors. They scan the track for what's ahead, and they take decisions along the way. And the interesting thing that we cannot enter and see exactly what they're doing besides the actions, because you cannot debug the behaviors. They're built into their virtual neurons of their brains. So it's a completely different approach. In fact, when they sometimes take bad habits of doing something weird, you cannot enter and say, okay, this is this line of code, I remove it, and that's it, because there is no such line of code. Instead, you have to think and reverse what they were thinking. Why did they start to do this? Let's try to find a prize or something that limits their attitude in this sense, and give them a goal, like growing a dog. It's not like something you enter actively and you program it by itself. It's a big change, and it's a leap of faith because it has to work.
Yeah, yeah. How does the AI adapt to different conditions of the track as well? Because I know in the games in the past we've seen weather changes and things along those lines. Is it able to even in real time be like, oh, now it's slicker conditions and so on and so forth?
Well, there is no changing weather into the game, but there is a lot of changing conditions in the ruts.
Sure.
That start forming. Yes, it was one of the main points, because the ruts were possible only as long as the AI was able to read the ruts. Because even if we had the technology to make the ruts, but not to make the AI to read them, it would be impossible to ship into the game. So they're very, very tightly bound together. In fact, the AI can actually read where these ruts are digging in, and how to use them efficiently. Definitely, it's not going to cut through and kill itself along the way. It has to be, and you see that it changes the way it approaches every point of the track from the start to the end.
If you like that video, Be sure to subscribe to the channel for much more motocross gaming content.